Okay. We're good.
Okay, cool. So, she inputted the agenda into the Canvas page. So did everyone complete the learning assessment and the notes and submit everything?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. She said that no learning materials discussion is required, but you can include that if we would like. So it's up to you all.
I thought it was an interesting topic, at least. The feedback, it's something that I've always struggled with and will probably always struggle with, but it's a hot topic for this course in general, I think. That's
agree. She said that we don't have to do a joke or icebreaker, but if you all want to, we can. So
I had my joke ready, so I'll share it.
Wait up. Okay. Let me comment. I just wanted to say I wish I had feedback more often because people are too afraid to give feedback, and that's what I need a lot of times. They don't. I don't know. People just on the job or whatever. People don't want to give feedback, and it's something that is good. And people should just be more open about doing it and giving it, because 9 times out of 10 you don't even know what you're doing, and I'll continue doing the same thing if I don't know that someone has a pronoun that they need to be called, or that's just one example, but several things happen where I continually just be me and I'm offensive or something, so you never know unless you get a review, and I like reviews.
okay.
Okay.
Great job, James.
All right, so you want to hear my joke?
Yeah.
A skeleton walks into a bar.
Huh.
And he says, I want a beer and a mop.
Oh my gosh.
I have one too, actually.
Uh-oh.
Helvetica and Times New Roman walk into a bar. "Get out of here," shouts the bartender. "We don't serve your type."
Oh my god.
Lots of bar jokes. All right.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
The past, the present, and the future walk into a bar. It was tense.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
All right, Haven, your turn.
At this point, this week has been a joke, so
True.
Okay, so follow the instructions below for the process by which you will share your own and your teammates' assessments from our written assessments. Okay, and then there's just 2 more agenda items, but those aren't anything. So what she wants us to do, I'm trying to see how does she just want us to read them? Each team member should share 1 strength that they identified on the self-assessment, and then 1 weakness, and then how you plan to improve on your weakness. Include examples for both of them. And then you identify a strength and an area to improve for your people you assessed. And then that person can reply if they want to. But you don't have to. And we just have to do it until we're all done. So whoever wants to start is fine with me.
So we're starting with ourselves?
Yeah, can we do round robin and just do like 1 person at a time, or just go strength and then someone else goes with their strength and
Sure.
Do you want to do our personal assessments first?
I think that's a good place to start. It kind of breaks the ice.
Yeah.
I can
Who's
go
going?
first.
Go for it.
Okay. Okay, so for myself, I guess I'll just go down the chart. For contributed good ideas, I said that was one of my weaknesses. I felt like the more comfortable we got with each other, the more I would say things, but that was one of the things I struggled on. I felt like I listened and respected everyone. I hope I did at least. Same with the compromise and cooperated. I came to all the meetings, did my homework. I feel like I communicated pretty effectively. I feel like sometimes my nonverbal cues are not as good, but this is also my first time with a virtual meeting or virtual anything, so it was kind of weird getting used to that. And I felt like I did my share, that I did all the work without people having to tell me to do my homework. And then I put my teamwork first with a high priority. So overall, I put fair because I think I can always do better. One of my strengths was being organized, just because I'm used to over communicating and used to scheduling and just organizing everything. And I try to keep my life kind of organized, but that was kind of one of my weaknesses. Was this class kind of threw me for a loophole with organization. I just think everyone is different with the organization, so it was kind of weird for me to get used to it. So it kind of helped me out in that area, but also I'm not very creative, and that was one of my weaknesses from the beginning. But I felt like from feeding off from you all with some of your ideas you had and the way the conversations would go, I might not have spoken up all the time, but it definitely got me thinking in different ways that I used to. So I definitely appreciated that, but that was definitely one of my weaknesses that I need to force myself to do more of, is basically how I'm just going to fix that. Try to just speak up more, sort of thing. And then just try to adapt to my environment and the organization standpoint. But so that was my self-evaluation. Danielle, you want to go next?
Yeah, so I think it asked to like reference it back to the psychological contract, which for that I actually wrote introvertedness as both a strength and a weakness. So I just tried to tie that back. I wrote how one of the strengths I noticed is that I was able to develop my listening skills, because I'm not the first one to jump up and talk. I've learned to kind of listen and see where the conversation is going, if it's taking a turn, and follow it that way, so that when it is my turn to talk, I have something like, it's good input. It's not something random or, so I guide myself that way. So I wrote about that. And then I wrote about the TED Talk that we were supposed to watch. What was it, earlier this week, about how introverts do have a place in the workplace and all of that. So I did mention to her that I did appreciate that. And then as a weakness, is it a weakness or how we're going to improve? So my weakness was that not being able to pick up responsibilities right away, or not wanting to pick up a role that had a lot of responsibility, because I kind of wanted to gauge the team first, and I fortunately do worry about what other people think, so that usually holds me back when I am in a team. So I just wrote about the team discussion that we had when we talked about like what defines us or whatever, and how that kind of made me feel more comfortable. So maybe something that I could improve on is building a bond or a connection in the future, so that I can feel more comfortable quicker and feel more comfortable to share or to even lead a team. So yeah, that's how I kind of turned around the weakness. But those are the only things that I really wrote about, because I just related it back to the psychological contract. I don't think I added any more than that. So that was it for me. Joey?
I did kind of both, similar to you and then similar to Haven. For strength, back then, this one actually surprised me when I looked at it, and it does make sense. I think I just really struggled with this aspect in this course for some reason. But the strength that I listed, it's funny to say out loud, was working together as a team and helping others to encourage positive morale and strengthen the relationships within the team. So I feel like one of the weaknesses that's actually been pulled out for me this course is if I don't agree with someone, I become very negative, almost pessimistic. And until something like bops me on the head, I can't see it. And I guess this assignment was that, because it really made me reflect. But I need to find the other question because I have so many documents open. I'm sorry. In regards to weaknesses, I think my biggest weakness is just being uncomfortable in these types of settings at times, and not really confident about myself or confident of myself. And then, I mean, overall strengths, I consider myself to be friendly, helpful, and a good person to go to if you have something concerning organizational skills. I'm good at keeping track of things, what is required, and answering questions whenever things come up. But that's everything in a nutshell. Are we going to go through the charts one by one, or how are we approaching this?
I think it just said one strength and one weakness,
Just go to
right?
the strengths and weaknesses.
Okay, all right, then I'm good.
Yeah,
Eric?
so it's share one
Sure.
strength and
Yeah.
one area they want to improve on.
So for the psychological contract, I listed my strengths as the ability to see the big picture and not get bogged down in the minute details. And I think I accomplished that for this course. It said it came in handy. The unique format provided for some challenges in learning the flow of the meeting schedules and completing the assignments on time. While this difficult format was a little complicated, it wasn't totally impossible. Just with good organization and foresight, you can accomplish everything asked of you. So I just kind of use my organization skills to navigate through the module pages and figure out what was asked of us. As far as area for improvement, I listed my difficulty for giving up control of projects. And I do this at work too. I find the people that I work with intolerable, and there's no way they could accomplish the project the way that I would want to do it. And if I really care about it, then I have trouble giving it up. Luckily, I didn't feel that way here. You guys were not intolerable, so it became easier for me to force myself to work together with the team to allow each individual to be responsible for my success in one way or another. And then I cited the example of having each of us rotate responsibilities and relying on everyone else to submit a video or a written assignment rather than taking it on myself. So maybe it's just the people that I work with suck, but you guys are good. So it helped me in practicing giving up control, which is something I like to do. So James.
All right. So I'll just jump to the psychological contract strengths. Back to that contract, I think my best strength was being able to bring the group together, even if it was at my expense. I usually do this.
You're very hard on yourself, James.
Yeah, like crazy hard.
Well, it always happens in groups where it's like nobody well, I'm not going to say you guys, but like people don't act or they don't want to make like the first move. So I always have to end up doing it. And then I end up in like a role where I have to be the leader in a lot of cases, and I hate it. But I don't know, it sort of led me to this degree, I guess, and my position now. And I'm kind of like learning to work with that a little bit. But it's maybe because I'm opinionated and decisive as well. Like I'm not afraid to like, say what I believe in and get things out there. And I'm not really emotionally tied to any of it. It's just sort of like information to me, kind of. And then getting deep was great. I feel like I got pretty deep, and that was in that one meeting. We all kind of expanded upon that. I think that was cool to sort of maybe give everyone permission in a way to go as deep as I did, because I was like, shit, if I just give them my whole life story, maybe everyone else will feel more inclined. But also being the first person to act is bound to make mistakes. So that's also could be a downfall in a lot of ways. But yeah, being open kind of allowed people to dive in more. And then, everyone gave some really good information there. And I feel like that meeting was where we kind of really grew as a group. And I think the trust was built there because it was like, this vulnerable time where we were able to kind of come together. But obviously I have tons of issues that I can improve upon. Empathize with others, looking towards the goal too much. I should really try to look towards the needs of others. A lot of times I just say stuff without really thinking about how other people feel or what other people experience. And I don't like go through what I should say in my head. I just go through what's in my head, which is a good thing sometimes too, because it's genuine and it sort of allows everybody in the group to trust me. And yet, it shows also that maybe I don't care, especially if you don't know me. It's like, this guy is just like, he's an asshole. But in the end, you're like, shit, this guy would, pick me up and get me gas if I broke down on the highway. Like, I guess it shows that I'm genuine, but to my fault, I think, in a lot of ways. And then it's hard for me. Let's see. Sometimes I just say things without really thinking about how other people feel. I guess I kind of summed it up. Let's see. Are we supposed to bring up anything else, or is that it? Things to improve. Is that it?
I think so.
Okay. Hope we're not missing anything.
Did everybody go?
Yeah, I mean, that was it for that section.
Okay, so I think we do the same thing, but for the people that we evaluated. So
Yeah, it's identify a strength for an area to improve that they have listed on their assessment form for 2 other teammates.
yeah, so just like one strength and one weakness.
Right. So when, like, say I talk about Ari, then Ari would go, and then whoever he talks about would go, right?
All right, let's try that.
But if you talk about if you give feedback, but if you provide feedback to someone, that person is allowed to respond or not respond. She made that an option.
Yeah.
But we have to go around until each person has received
2.
the ratings of 2 of his or her teammates.
So everybody's providing both of their feedbacks.
Yeah.
So did we not have to go through any of the information on the 6.5 notes?
No.
Really?
Nope.
I didn't mention
I think
that
was the no learning materials discussion is required, but you can include it if you like. I think we went through that.
That's what I was rambling about in the beginning about feedback.
Okay.
I can go first if no one wants to.
Sure.
All right. I had Ari and Daniela, the meanest person in the group.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so for Daniela, let's see.
I may
I
be
think-
nice, but I can take it.
No, it was actually really hard because everything was so controlled in this class, not because of the way it was created. I just think it's such a controlled environment that there wasn't really a lot of opportunity for failure or mess up. So even a lot of the weaknesses are slight. I don't know if they're fully developed weaknesses even. So for the strength, I put Daniela is an excellent listener and responds with respectful commentary as appropriate. And by that, I mean when I said something about, I guess in our really vulnerable conversations, each time when someone shared something, you had something to say back, but it was always something respectful or encouraging or polite. And I think that's where we all got this perception that you're like a super nice person, which you are, but that action, it showed that you were genuinely listening because of your responses. It was very evident. It wasn't just like, yeah, I agree. So that would be the strength. And then the weakness, I had to spin it because I can't be mean. It kind of goes hand in hand. I rated you as a sometimes for one area, and it was communicated effectively with teammates, both verbally and non-verbally. I said she started off quiet, but came around and communicated very effectively after the first couple of meetings. And then at the very bottom, I put could be a bit more confident. Easier said than done, of course, but definitely has a lot to say that could be helpful to others. So I think that we all have this problem or lack of confidence, especially in this type of setting. I think it would be easier in person, honestly, because we do miss a lot of visual cues. You can only see my neck up. So I'm sitting here like doing this because I'm nervous right now. So I think you're probably a very confident person, but it doesn't always come off that way. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Are we doing both or should I go next?
I think you should go. It'll break it up.
Okay. Well, the first one I did was Haven. Let me pull it up.
Wait, you don't want to retort, Daniela?
She said thank you.
I said thank you. I mean, we can't get defensive, you know?
You don't
I
have
want
to.
you to like start screaming at me.
No.
How dare you?
Throw something.
Oh goodness.
No. Yeah, so I had Haven, and I actually, your needs to improve on about me is actually what I wrote about for Haven. Because I feel like we're a little similar. I feel like we're both kind of like on the quiet side, and it could be lack of confidence. It could just be a new environment for us. But that's, I mean, same thing I wrote. I said that you had really great insight, but for some reason I felt like you held back at times just from expressing yourself. I said, same thing, that I felt like towards the beginning you spoke up less, but as time went on you were speaking up more. So I feel like if you just keep practicing that, and I mean that goes for both of us really, if we just keep practicing and finding ways to make ourselves feel confident, then in the future we'll be able to be better about that in new environments. Now for most valuable contribution, And this isn't referring to the first meeting because we were all kind of messed up back then. But I just said that I felt like you were always very prepared, even on the WhatsApp. You were one of the people who most contributed to that conversation by asking questions or by reassuring. And then I did mention you're willing to compromise because I think you had like the strictest schedule on how back to back your work and the meetings were. But I felt like despite all the times we changed dates or all of that, you were always like, it's fine, I'll make it work. And you were always early. I mean, you were earlier than I was. So I did mention that because I really appreciated that. But yeah, that's all I had.
Thank you. That was nice. I was so prepared for everything to be so awful tonight. So I do have one quick question though, because I had Daniela and James. I can do James, but side note is mine for Daniela was almost the exact same as Joey's.
That's fine.
So I don't know if you all want me just to do both of them real quick, or
Do them because mine for you is the same as Haven. So
okay.
Yeah, this meeting is going to be short if we don't.
It's the boys versus the girls, clearly.
So for Daniela, it was pretty much the same.
we'll do James then, so we can
okay.
keep moving.
Well, for Daniela, I really liked how you had a lot of good ideas and you expressed it in a good way. So that was one of the things I wanted to make sure you knew that. I liked it because it was one of my weaknesses. So I did take a lot of what you all said to heart a little bit. But so for James, okay. So this was really hard because I think you all are really good. And like I said, this is my first time in a virtual meeting. I said that strengths was your opinions and your ideas were very valuable. I felt like you did research everything. You took everything very seriously. You wanted to make sure that you were right on whatever you spoke about. I did respect that because I know a lot of people don't do that. Either they don't care enough or whatever. So that is really, really good. I like how you always had books or articles or things to send us if we wanted to read up on everything. I think that's awesome, and I think more people should be that serious. And I had to use it also as a weakness because, to be honest, I don't know. It's hard to find weaknesses in such a short amount of time in such a weird way. But I just said that in different environments that because you kind of get on your spiels about things and you're really passionate about some things, so you'll talk and talk. And in some environments, I feel like that could be a hindrance in a way, depending on what it is. I didn't have a specific thing in mind. I just felt like your really good strength could also be kind of a weakness in some aspects. It's not bad at all, and don't change it. But I just felt like, depending on the environment, just kind of shorten it sometimes or talk longer in others. But that's all I had. I you knew your stuff, so I think that's a really strong point. And that's all.
So as to respond, I think I agree with you on the first one, of course, in some ways. Just because I care generally about the information, and it usually applies to kind of everything I'm going through and like learning. And I've taken a lot of classes on similar subjects, so it's something that I'm actually interested in. Like every time I see a video or a reading, I'm like, okay, this is something that I haven't looked up myself, or I don't actually have the book, and this is all going to be stuff that I can use. So I was generally pretty excited about the information, and I feel like not everybody was as excited about I was. Many times you could tell, and I think maybe it's because our schedules, you guys it's like 2 a.m. where you guys are, and I'm like just waking up, just had breakfast, just worked out, and so but yeah, and then let's see, my weakness was too much. I think I definitely do that, and it's sort of I think it stifles what people want to say sometimes, or people don't feel comfortable talking when I'm so opinionated and like, so, you know, I have so much information. People sometimes probably feel like, you know, I don't want to say something against what he was talking about, or, you know, I might, it might just kind of scare people off. But I think with all of these, I think we can all agree that our greatest strengths are usually our weaknesses as well. So yeah, just a word on that. Yeah, so Ari, I'm going to go through yours. We are 6:30. So I don't know if I should go through all of them. I'll just read I'll read a couple of the negative ones, because you were pretty solid in every category. Your biggest strength for sure was the ability to organize and, you know, keep with responsibilities, and really keeping us on track and getting the flow going and keeping everybody in order. And it was great to see how, you know, you were really good at like keeping us on the hook for, you know, hey, this is this assignment, and planning ahead. The only thing I wish we use those due dates a little bit more. I was thinking about it during this assignment. I was like, shoot, I wish I remembered the roles and stuff that we had during certain meetings, because I was like trying to use specific examples. I was like, well, during this one meeting he did this, and I was like, I couldn't remember which meeting it was. But I was that was my my number 2. Listen and respected the ideas of others. I put sometimes because of that. But because I just generally, you know, I wish we had that more. Maybe that's the wrong category for it, but I just wish we, I think sometimes, it's good in some ways, but it's sometimes, I think it goes back to the project control thing, where it's like, you know, you want to control the project, and if it seems like maybe unnecessary work, then it's like, hey, let's move on past this thing. And I don't know, I think democracy dies at those points. Let's see, although we had some new processes after the first meeting, he seems sometimes to have a one-track mind, to finish the questions too quickly. Harry, too quickly. But I think that goes along with keeping us on track. It's a positive and a negative. You know, keeping us on track is awesome, but I think there were times where it was like, all right, let's cut it off. But maybe it's both of our weaknesses playing against each other. Mine to talk too much, and yours to over organize and you know, keep things moving maybe too quickly. So we were diametrically opposed in those instances, maybe. But let's see. I think I don't remember who did it, but when we had those questions, after the meeting where we were supposed to give a review on the interview, I wanted to. Oh no, that's for my next one. Let's see. Kept the power dynamics in order. That was good. Let's see what I have here. Most valuable contribution, kept us on task, fast pace, uncanny ability to make material more digestible and concise. So I think that was part of that too. And I think a lot of people need that and like that. And I think Chanley would have loved to have you as her sidekick for some of those, because I know everybody was like, why do we have to read 5 paragraphs to figure out what the assignment is? Just give us an Excel document with description, rubric points, boom. Like, you know, that's it. Not, you know, 5 pages. You're scrolling through other assignments. You're going back. I mean, I love Chanley, but I don't mind reading. But I know that for Ari, he was probably like, give me the assignment. And I know a lot of people were frustrated too, because we wanted to get a more concise kind of answer on a lot of these. But we killed it with the WhatsApp. I think we all kind of worked together on that one, reading and finding little areas. But other than that, I think it was good. I think I chose Ari because I wanted to maybe tell him about how the group dynamics sometimes can play off each other. the only meeting I was kind of heartbroken about was the first. I think there was a second one when you were just going through all the different questions, and I didn't read the material, but I felt like I wanted to jump in at some points. But
Yeah.
that's the conciseness. Now,
Well, thank you for the feedback. Harsh but fair. I'll address them. So that one, I actually thought that I was trying to help you by not pointing out consistently that you didn't read it. So I was trying to like kind of gloss over it, and I got the same feedback from the other team when they watched that video, saying, include James. What are you doing? And so yeah, I mean that was a mistake. It's interesting that the Google Doc thing that we didn't really utilize. It's completely like I didn't even think about it, but like it's true. I was like, just kind of, do it, figure it out, and I didn't respect your idea, and that was lame. I apologize.
I didn't like the idea either. So I like to keep for organization. I like to keep my own thing.
Yeah, I mean that was where I was going, but to respect your idea is true. I mean,
right.
If you wanted to do it, that's something that I can work on and should work on, and but good feedback, and thank you for picking on me. All right, so I'll go. I'll pick on Joey.
Great.
So I gave you great grades across the board. Like we've all mentioned, this, there wasn't much room for failure. You always participated. You were on top of everything. You had great insight. So for the most valuable contribution, I said, from my perspective, I viewed Joey as a team leader. He happily reached out to Dr. Chanley for assignment clarifications and module specifics. I know oftentimes he clashed with Dr. Chanley, but he was always dedicated to finding out the best way for our team to succeed. So, I mean, you mentioned this yourself, Joey. This it just seems like a natural. Your attribute is that you kind of take the lead and take the reins, and I appreciated that because even in the WhatsApp, it's with work and my family and trying to stay organized. It was nice to have somebody else that was just as organized on top of it and was willing to talk to Chanley that much. I mean, I talked to her on the phone a number of times, but I think you ranked us all with that. So that was the valuable contribution. So identify at least one way the team performance could have been improved. Okay, so here's what I wrote. I found oftentimes that Joey would be too focused on outside criticism. One area to improve would be to recognize his own strengths and not be deterred by negative feedback. I think especially early on, you took the feedback a little too personally and might have been useful to just step back and recognize where it was coming from and what it meant to the team, and just kind of gain a little bit more perspective. I think that was it, though. I mean, but again, I think you use that as a strength. I mean, you're really dedicated to doing the best that you can, and with that comes criticism of yourself, I think. So that was as harsh as I could possibly get him. If that's harsh at all, I don't know.
I openly admit that fault always. But to somewhat refute that, I felt like a lot of the feedback that we got kind of, and this is not directed at anyone in particular, but just general feedback that we received, I felt like it was never really concise. It was very, at least, I mean, some of the stuff we got was individual. So I can't say that all of the feedback was not concise, because she was very good about providing detailed explanations for some meetings, and then others. We just got feedback on something the other day, and she responded as almost if she was in the meeting at that moment and we were still recording. I had no idea what she was talking about. Yet then this week we have to read something that says feedback needs to be very specific so that people can understand and comprehend it. So I responded and expressed my frustrations with that, because there's a lot of back and forth, I felt like.
See, but here's my thing, and you know, you're fair to feel that way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's not, you know, failing us. Like, we're getting incredible grades in this. So, like,
right.
Maybe pick your battles. You know, prioritize. If there was a case where she's like, you get a 0 for this,
right,
maybe then escalate it. But she's giving us this feedback, and then, hey, you know, it's like,
right,
take it with a grain of salt, I think.
I mean,
that's my perspective.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
That's all.
So
you're muted.
My other person was you.
All right, let's go.
Screw you, Ari. Get out of here. No. Let's see. So I actually had everything positive to say. One of the things that it kind of played on your strength and weakness, but you're very much a dad.
Sorry.
No, it works well because, like James said, you were always on it. Like, you kept us on track. You kept, if we strayed, you kind of got us back to that. I was just refuting what you said, and you still twisted it back to something positive. So you're very good about turning a negative into a positive, which is a positive. Then for the negative side of things, or the area of opportunity, I said almost too lax at times. You're like one of those cool dads, and you could stand to be a little bit more stern as necessary. So with that, I don't really know how to explain it, because I don't think you need to be a jerk or anything, but I think sometimes you're very go with the flow and just chill, and it could just be the setting as well, but that would be my only opportunity for improvement.
Do you have an example?
I think anytime we asked to change, well, no, because we all were kind of cool when we needed to change dates. I just got that vibe the entire time. Like, if someone needed something, you were just kind of like, yeah, that's fine. Or it's hard to pinpoint. It was just a general feeling that if we had suggested that, you were very accommodating, let's put it that way. And it makes me wonder if you're ever able to say no. I guess that would be a better way to say it.
Yeah, I have that problem with my
family.
What?
Can I piggyback on that a little bit? I think in mine somewhere I said that Ari, it'd be great to see him kind of challenge the status quo a little bit, and I feel like maybe he was not afraid to be confrontational, but I just don't see him like trying to dive into those waters at all. Like, even if there was something that you were super passionate about, maybe you just articulate it in a way that it's not offensive. Like I
think it's your tone. Like I'm not afraid to like get sassy or whatever, but yeah.
Sure.
But fight the power, Ari.
Yeah, I don't really, you know, I try to make everybody happy. I'm working on it.
He's not a Trump, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your feedback, everybody. That was very spiritually uplifting. All right, so it's my turn again.
Yep.
Haven.
Yay.
So for Haven, I gave you great reviews. I thought you participated and respected and communicated and made this a priority. Um, the valuable contribution. I said Haven brought her best self to the team. She related her experience as a coach to all of the course materials and was genuinely interested in learning from the materials and the rest of the team. So good job. I mean, you were on board. It was good to have another participant of somebody that cared. So the room for improvement. I said, as the youngest member of the team, I felt at times like Haven thought she didn't relate to the rest of the team, once referring to herself as not having a big girl job. I would say just be confident in yourself and your abilities, and you will be successful.
I picked up on that big girl job comment too, actually. Like it made my heart sink when you said that, because I'm like, no matter where you are in life, your contribution matters. Whatever you have to say is valuable. So don't ever doubt yourself in that regard.
Yeah. The other comment I made was something that Daniela commented on also. You were always focused on succeeding as a group, in the group, and compromising on your schedule. I know that you were rushing home from your coaching job to make the meetings on time, and you never complained about it. You never tried to change the time. You were always accommodating. So good job by you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I'm done. Do you have any more, Haven?
Mm-mm. No, I did mine too.
Danielle, you did both yours?
No, I have just James left. Because you
Good.
all are done too, huh?
I'm done.
Okay.
There's
Yeah, I think.
one more for James and one for me.
Oh, okay. So I can go.
Okay.
So I'll start with negative because I like to end on a positive note. Well, it was already said. I think the only thing for me was the length of responses, and I don't know if that was just because I felt like I didn't need to go into such depth. So when I would hear you go into depth, I would think, like, is it necessary? You know, we read the same material. The only recommendation that I had is, I guess the setting that we're in. For example, when we had the talk about privilege, you know, we were all on the same page. I felt like that conversation went very well, but this could have been like a different group of people. So, and I don't know if this is just something I do, but I kind of analyze the people that I'm talking to before I say something, and I don't know if that's just to protect myself, but you know, in a different group, some of the things that were said, I don't know it, and not even now, but at all, you know, sometimes the things that we say could offend other people. And I mean, I think I mentioned it during that conversation that our generation's pretty sensitive. So it's just, you know, I guess watching who you say things around, because, and I'll talk about this when I talk about the positive stuff, like you have really, really great things to say, but it won't always sit well with everyone. So that's just the negative. That's as mean as I could get, okay? But for the positive, it's really the same thing. And I know it's about the team, but personally, I feel like the things that you brought up, and it was during that same privilege conversation, I think I brought up male privilege, and you brought up kind of like reasons why those privileges even came to be. And I really like thought about it. I even like told my best friend the next day, and I'm like, I remember telling her about, you know, women not getting hired because at a certain age we are seen as the ones who will be taking maternity leave and might not be able to commit to a long-term project and things like that. And I don't know, I just, the things that you say, they like open my mind more. I feel like you kind of inspired me to like read up on things that I'm curious about. I don't know if that was the same for all of us, but I know for me it was. I think it like you like made it okay to be curious. Does that make sense? And another thing, I found you were very persistent in finding the best way for us to get the best grade. So I really appreciated that. I feel like you wanted to go above and beyond and, try to get us to do extra so that we could get the best grade, which is essentially our common goal. So yeah, that's something else that I really appreciated. And when we all opened up to that one activity that we did when we all opened up or whatever, I really liked how, I don't know, it was like you always had something to say too, and I could see you like thinking about it, like I know you wanted to say something to kind of show that you understood us, that we were all similar in some sort of way. And then fun fact, I threw in that you were the official unofficial challenger of the team. So yeah, that's all I had for you.
Well, thank you. Wow, those are a lot of compliments. That's I can fill my compliment jar for a while here.
You're
That's
welcome.
why you end on the positive notes. That's right.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah, the negative stuff. I know that about myself. I just need to remind myself more of it, because even in my job now, sometimes I get on people and I don't really think about what they have to say or how they would feel. I don't have any concept of it at all. Like I'm really trying to get better at it. And it's maybe the situation I'm in, or maybe my job or my career. But that's no excuse. I don't ask people how they feel about something, or I don't try to see, how people are affected or try to read their body language. A lot of times I just tell people to do things, and, if they don't do it right, I try to help them. And I try to tell them the right way to do it, but I don't necessarily, jump in and really think about how everybody feels about things. And definitely in those conversations that are a little racy, I think part of me likes to challenge, and part of me likes to try to wake the group up a little bit and get people to think about it and try to stir up some emotions. We did kind of all have similar viewpoints, so I feel like you're right. It worked out with us, but I think in a lot of other groups it would fire up somebody with, purple hair or something. But it's I guess it is a sign of the times too, and I need to be more open to the new generation and how millennials are. I think what comes to me first is how I kind of started out actually as super liberal. I was probably the most liberal person. I was like an anarcho-syndicalist, studying Noam Chomsky and Howard Zinn and all these people that were just, I got super into, the Torah, Kabbalah, I got into religion. I got into like really kind of everything. And then at the end of it, I just kind of realized that like I was unrealistic in my thinking, and it kind of made me think more conservatively, I think. And I think once I had that duality, like I was way out here and I came back towards this conservative, I feel like whenever I like have conversation now and whenever I talk about things, I think my problem is I just say information and people try to put me in a box or a category, and I'm more of just trying to, get the other side over, the other point of view. But yeah, I'm rambling again. But yeah, I agree with all the criticisms, and the positive stuff too. Thank you for all that stuff. It's cool to hear that, I recommended some things and got people to think, and it's amazing how you think. And it's cool meeting somebody that's emotional, that cares about how people feel and how people's emotions are, because I feel like 99% of the time I have girlfriends or, people that are more emotional come to me and ask me how I'm feeling or how I'm doing. And to me, it's almost an offensive question, because I'm like, why are you asking me? But they genuinely care. And to me, it's like, it's a foreign kind of thing, it's like why should I feel this way or that way? It's like, I'm fine, but I should take it as a compliment and just go with it, say thank you for it. So anyways,
James,
I
I'd
feel
also
like
say,
you are. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I think the thing about you is that you don't really have a filter, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, like, it's good in that, you know, I genuine is, what is it? Being genuine is excellent. You know, not many people are genuine. They're very fake and
Yeah.
they don't get it. Like, just as far as like in the corporate world that I'm in, like, you need to, you know, like, think all of that, but I think that it can be a detriment at times, you know, like, you know, it's good to take it all in and realize what's going on around you, but how you manipulate that for your own good is something that I've used to my success, reading the room and reading the politics of the corporate structure of whatever job I'm in. And you just kind of just go with it, man. You just kind of like, here's what I'm thinking. Here's why you should think this, and let me cite 4 reasons why. And I you know, it's cool. I just, you know, but I would say that maybe you're better off as some feedback, trying to read the situation more and internalizing it, and not trying to mind dump everything on to people or situation.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like a little kid in a lot of adult situations, but it's people are respectful towards me in that way, but they also don't respect me in a lot of ways because of it. They feel like, you know, if you know everything about somebody and you know everything, it's like it's easy to sort of control them or manipulate them. I think, you know, a lot of people have hidden agendas and whatever. A lot of times mystery, I mean, that's the number one thing in attraction, and I have to learn to tone it down when I talk to girls, at least. You know, my personality is a turnoff for a lot of girls, I would say. You know, at least dating lately, and just relating it to that, it's been, you know, it's like they don't really want to hear your whole life story in 20 minutes, but in reality, I'm trying to think practical here. You know, it's like trying to, you know,
Finding the
get
balance.
everything there. Yeah, trying to date somebody for like a week and figure everything out rather than wasting 2 years. You know, I don't know. But anyway, another tangent. Joey's turn. Or Daniela, are you good on all that?
Yeah, I was just going to mention that when we interviewed Alan, you did mention that you were taking in what he was saying and treating people like humans and things. So you also said right now that you don't have a concept of it, but you do. So that's basically just step 1. And from there, you just have to figure out what's going to work, find that balance.
Yeah, I got to apply it for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Joey. Dun, dun, dun. All right. So let's get into Joey mode here.
I have you on mute. I'm kidding.
All right. I think we have to send these to each other anyway, so you get to read every single sentence. Let's see. So I think overall we kind of went over a lot of it, but I'll just sort of reiterate some things. I think on the negative side, you know, I felt like you kind of became emotional about some things. Maybe, you know, and I'm not the best at phrasing this stuff. Keep in mind, I'm just kind of saying, you know, what I'm trying to say, what Ari said in a nice way, but I'm not as articulate as Ari.
Thank you.
But basically, I think, you know, there were times where there was, you know, like with the feedback and with different teams, I think it kind of, you know, it kind of gave you like a little bit of a spiral in a way, kind of a negative spiral. And it kind of, I don't know, it's like on a, you know, if you're on a baseball team or any team and there's like one person that, you know, kind of like feels negative, or you can kind of feel it in the room a little bit. And I think sometimes that can be a detriment. I think sometimes it's good in terms of getting people as fired up about things that you were. But I think that sometimes it can rub off on people, you know, even if you have a negative day or something. But I think there was a lot of stuff, you know, like when we had like, when I kept seeing the grades come back, I'm like, man, I'm pretty happy about this stuff. You know, we're getting pretty good grades. The feedback, I mean, really, I mean, you can learn from the feedback, but not really let it affect you so much, you know. But I think it's a good thing for sure. And I think your like skeptical kind of viewpoints on things like helped you like really drive home like what issues there were. I think you would have, you know, you could have even helped structure the class, and you definitely took a great leadership role. And you were definitely driven by passion. I feel like there was just times of unnecessary, you know, unnecessary emotion tied into, you know, different assignments and stuff. And, you know, there were some scheduling and structuring kind of things, but in a way I felt like the class was kind of in a beta state, and it feels like a very new sort of structure. And I think Chanley has good intentions. I think she really, she wants everybody to succeed. It's just a way that she structured it was maybe just different for you. And it's different for me too. You know, and with every new kind of situation, you know, I think the reason why I liked the course a lot was just because you could call her and she was available, and that she would give you information. And the phone calls that I had with her were pretty good, and they were always pretty helpful. And I feel like she let us sort of drive the course a little bit, so there was almost not as much need to get really, you know, emotionally invested as much in the feedback that she gave, but really kind of we could kind of almost structure a lot of the course, you know, and decide what we talked about. And I thought that was a good part of the class. But I do think sometimes the negativity could drive down morale in a lot of cases. But I think you did an awesome job at, you know, really being on top of stuff and really figuring things out for the group, and, you know, being on that WhatsApp, and just kind of having a consistent conversation with everybody. The only negative was that one time I was like, you know, I wanted to add some more criteria to the interview meeting, and you didn't want to. And I was like, you know, let's just, I kind of just wanted to look into it. I wasn't really that invested into it. And then it kind of like, it was almost like a argument, an unnecessary kind of argument. But, you know, I think it's good. It's good to flush that stuff out, but to get too involved in it, I think when we kind of all have the same goal, isn't entirely necessary every time, but it definitely is necessary. And in a lot of cases, especially when there's all these questions with the way it's reviewed and the way she gives us feedback and stuff. But hey, if I'm getting 25 out of 25 points, you can say whatever you want about me. No, it's a good learning experience. You know, I think she gives constructive criticism a lot too. And I think even she was accepting of our constructive criticism. That was the thing that I liked about her. You know, she was asking questions, and even, you know, what's funny was that assignment where I just kind of made that file of our dates and stuff. It was funny that she made one of those. I think I had a conversation with her, and then she made one of those with all the due dates kind of after that. And I thought that was cool. That should have been done like early in the course to help people and solidify the due dates and stuff. And I know I was super confused in the beginning, but the cool thing was she just allowed us to redo it. So, but there's my big package for you, Joey. But you were definitely the leader of our team, and very assertive and courageous.
Agreed. No, Joey, nothing.
Joey, come and get me. Come on, Johnny.
He's staying on mute.
Nothing to say. Haven?
You're mad. I can tell.
No, I'm not mad at all. I'm not mad at all. I have a strong opinion about this course, so I don't want to. All of my negativity comes from specific feedback that came directly to me and not the team from the very beginning. So there's been an ongoing battle the entire course. And no matter how hard I tried to see Dr. Chanley's point of view, I couldn't wrap my head around it. So it did create that pessimism for me. I'm not like this at work at all. So, I mean, I am that happy person that people come to. I'm that person that they come to because they want to be happy. So to hear it in this class, I get it. I totally get it. That's why I put it as my weakness in the assignment. So, but thank you. Haven?
Did everyone share everything?
Yeah, that was 2 for everyone.
Cool.
I was keeping tally.
Okay. So the next thing on the agenda is the discussion about the extra credit assignment. Basically who is going to do it and who doesn't. And she did mention that even if it's just one person, they can still do it. So is anyone going to do it?
Or can we do it Monday? Do we have time? I mean, given that I messed up something for this assignment, I didn't write 2 or 3 paragraphs about myself. I didn't catch that at all. I kind of want to make sure that I don't lose a bunch of points for that. So
Yeah, I can't do it tonight, but
Yeah.
if you guys want to do it next week before a meeting or on another day, it shouldn't be that long, right? It's just like a half an hour.
Are we allowed to do that?
yeah, it's this week or next.
Oh, sweet.
Um,
What team do you guys want to choose?
I think she assigned one to us.
yeah, wasn't it Team 9 again or something?
They're my favorite.
Team.
All I remember is that lady wasn't looking at the camera. She was like working the whole time.
She was hardcore. She was on Adderall.
Probably non-prescription Adderall.
Yeah. Or a similar substance.
So
Yes.
Team 9.
Where is the? Oh, that was in an announcement, right? That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on. She posted the videos on the extra credit discussion module page. So, so we just have to watch a half an hour of it and then give feedback again.
For the record, I had it in like 3 times 3 speed, so just kidding. She maybe wasn't on drugs.
I mean, I'm down for doing it since it's not until next week.
What is it, 10 points?
Up to 25.
To 25, yeah, we should do it.
Oh.
So after this, what do? We send each other the feedback? Even our personal, or do we just do each other's?
It's just if the person wants it, so you don't have to unless someone requests it. At least that's what I read somewhere.
I'll load mine up on the drive if you guys want it.
Oh yeah, I guess we could do that.
And
And for the meeting that I missed, I did upload my notes on there because I know that's part of the charter.
I saw them.
Did you watch our video from Monday?
I did. I can't remember what I was laughing at, but the activity where you had to like pick your name.
That one was
I
hard.
was like, what?
That one was awkward. I don't know. I didn't understand that one.
What was your name?
Jesus.
What would your name be, Daniela?
I don't.
Mother Mary.
Yeah.
Mother Teresa.
Oh my gosh. I'm only nice, but when I'm hungry, I completely change.
So I guess we could just use our group chat to discuss the extra credit and kind of like figure out the best time, either before or after or another day. I don't technically need to do it, but I'll do it if it's kind of like around the same meeting. But just because I'm really, really busy and super stressed out at this point. But we can. I think that'll be easy, so that way we can kind of fight back and forth on that and figure out what day works best for everyone.
Okay.
And then she just wants everyone to read the agenda for next week's meeting and think about the responses before the meeting.
Are there no notes?
No.
I think it's super simple.
100 points.
Wow. No notes though, huh?
Whoa, here we go. Discuss the case study and assigned readings and follow the embedded instructions except the one that says come up with 20 ideas.
Yeah, I read the questions on it. It's not too bad at all. It'll take some time to put detail into it, but
I guess you can just write your notes in the agenda document. I mean, there's a lot of questions. Right?
on the case study.
No, on the agenda, the document that she provides in
Hold on.
module 7.1.
I
Yeah.
haven't looked at that yet.
So it's like the regular stuff, opening, joke, and then starting from 7 and 9, then 8. That's
Oh.
just 2 9s. All
Oh,
that stuff.
We have to watch this meeting and then review our nonverbal body language and review it. 20 minutes. Me
Are
picking
you
my-
serious? I can't even see you. Like, nope, I'm not going to be pessimistic.
That's good.
Your bobblehead is lovely.
Maybe the next meeting we put the computer on the table and stand 40 feet away.
Right.
Have the meeting that way. You can see my whole body. I'm super tall. You'll get that. You'll get that from me.
I'm gonna have a cutout of me just smiling and nodding.
Talking behind it.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my dog. He's going to stand.
Yeah. But I guess because there's so much in that agenda, she just wants to make sure that everyone looks at it and does it and gets ready for our last meeting.
We don't have to do this Monday. We can push this back a couple days, right?
We can just do it like Friday if we want, or Thursday.
I can't do Thursday or Friday. But any other day.
Wednesday. You want to push this to Wednesday?
I'm good with Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because we'll end up moving it Monday if we have it Monday.
Yeah. I mean, let's give ourselves some time to
Okay.
start Monday.
All right. So who wants to, or James, what role do you want?
Let's see. I can be the challenger again since
You're natural.
I don't know,
Barry?
you guys.
I'm going to be the facilitator so I can practice not moving so quickly through the facilitation role.
Can I bring a few jokes?
Sure.
Haven, do you want to be the
Um,
submitter? I don't know that we'll have anything.
I can be it in case there needs to be anything.
Or do you want to be the host since Daniela was the host this week?
Danielle's got to be the challenger. We got to all work on our strengths here, or our weaknesses.
True.
Yeah.
Haven, can you host?
Yes, I should be able to.
And Daniela, you can be the submitter. I don't think there's anything.
So
That's a
it's,
strange role. Like, we've only had to submit something twice, right?
Yeah.
Discuss.
Wait, what roles are left if Danielle is the
Excuse
Bless
me.
you.
James, you're the challenger. I'm the jokester. Haven, the host. Barry, the facilitator, and Daniela, the submitter.
You want to switch, Daniela?
Yeah, we can switch.
Yeah.
I'll bring something to challenge.
Bring some heat.
You better.
so Wednesday 9 p.m. my time, but 6 your all's, and we just need to do the case study and then read through the agenda and do all that. Is that all?
Yep.
Yeah, there's 2 4s
Cool.
on the module 7.1, but it's 4 items that we need to go through. And item 4 has 5
Yeah.
questions.
This is a big dog, actually.
Yeah. And then the extra credit. Do we want to do the extra credit first?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Hopefully we have our grades too. That way we can see if we need to do it.
Right.
It's a good point. Because I'm over 100 right now. I don't really need to do it, but
Damn, okay.
How are you over 100?
That
Yeah.
makes one of us.
I'm at 100.2.
What am I?
She gave me a
What?
60 on my psychological contract.
Cheater.
That's a glitch. I'm gonna take it. I don't know. I don't know what I did on my
I have a
psychological.
99.2.
Yeah, 99.7.
I have a 97.5. So I'm
Abe
good.
says we're freaking out. We don't even need to do this last meeting. Let's just call it off.
No, it's the 100.
I was so
100
angry
points.
this week that I wanted to skip this meeting. I did the math. I was like, I can still get an A if I skip this meeting.
No, come on.
All
right.
So see you Wednesday.
We're done. See you guys Wednesday.
Yep.
Have a
And
good
I'll
night.
upload
Or a
this.
good weekend.
Perfect.
Bye.
Good
Bye,
meeting,
guys.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.